Imagine living your life after 50 and feeling energized and excited about your future. Welcome to the Women in the Middle podcast, the podcast for women who are ready to figure out what they want and create the life they deserve. Here's your host and master certified life coach, Susie Rosenstein.
Hey there, today's episode is all about 5 reasons why you need a word of the year in midlife. Let's go. Welcome back to the podcast Women in the Middle with over 1 million downloads and counting. I'm your host, Susie Rosenstein, your master certified coach and midlife transition expert, and I am so glad to be here with you again. Now today, I want to coach you on another simple thing that you could do for yourself to help you be intentional. You might actually be surprised about how effective it can be too. I'm talking about picking a word of the year. The simplicity of this idea reminds me a little bit of the gratitude jar concept. Have you heard of that? I talked about it in episode 331, called Why a Happiness and Gratitude Jar in Midlife is a Great Idea. The concept with a gratitude jar is to purposefully create and gather happiness and gratitude reminders and put them in a dedicated place like a jar so that you can access these emotions at any given time, like great ideas that help you feel grateful. What I loved about making a gratitude jar was that it was a fun, easy reminder. The project wasn't intimidating either, and one of my favorite parts is that it was flexible in that you could do it a little or a lot. You could make it artsy and crafty or not, and whatever you did was basically enough to get value out of it. That's why we're going to talk about the value of a word of the year. It's a simple, clear reminder of what you want to focus on. You can do a lot or a little and still get a terrific result. So basically, you get a big bang for your little buck. But just quick, before we dive into this topic, I wanted to ask you a question. Do you know that I offer private coaching as well as group coaching in the Happiness Academy? I even offer a deluxe experience that combines the Group Academy coaching program with private coaching. I don't talk about the private coaching option that much on the podcast because I only have limited spots available that come and go. But I get questions about it, and I started to think that maybe I should mention it just in case it was something that you were wondering about yourself. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you may have noticed that I try on different ways to describe my coaching. I'm basically a mindfulness coach for midlife transitions and have been coaching midlife gals since 2014. Sometimes I refer to my work as a midlife clarity coach, a master life coach, a midlife mentor, a midlife possibility coach, and more recently, a midlife permission coach. It's all basically the same thing, but I'm experimenting with the ways I talk about it that make sense for those who are curious about it. Common midlife transitions are turning 50 or 60, empty nest, caring for senior parents, career transitions, pre-retirement prep or retirement reimagination, that sort of thing. A big question for my clients is about what they really want to do, which is surprisingly challenging to many. It seems like such a simple, obvious question, but it isn't. And a lot of what I do is coach my clients to give themselves permission to dream bigger and trust themselves more, to go after what they really want so that they don't have regrets. A lot of that trust stuff is really missing in midlife. So all that to say, my clients go from feeling stuck and unclear to unstuck and crystal clear about what they want with the confidence and courage to take action. Powerful results that are fulfilling, exciting, and peaceful. Truly life-changing. So if private coaching together is something you might be interested in yourself to set you up for success in your next chapter, please go ahead and book your free no-obligation call at www.talktosusie.com, and we'll chat about whether this option is a good fit for you. Okay, now let's dive in. Why you need a word of the year. Here's the thing, my friend. In midlife, many of us need a little support with the squirrels. Squirrels are fascinating. In Canada, at least where I live, there are black squirrels in addition to gray squirrels. And where I used to work for years, there was even a legendary albino squirrel and her family. Now, I'm not talking about the cute squirrels outside with this example, but I think you probably know what I mean. We struggle with things like focus, shiny objects, too many good ideas, urge to multitask, fascination with productivity on overdrive, all these things. So today, I want to coach you on how to be more intentional using the word of the year concept. The word of the year is basically a simple strategy to help you focus on what you want. Do more of what you want is being intentional, which is different than being on autopilot and just doing and responding without really thinking about what you really want, without checking in, without stopping or at least pausing to assess the situation. You've likely heard about the whole word of the year thing, perhaps with doing a vision board. It comes up a lot there. Selecting a word of the year can even help you conceptualize your vision board. I've seen midlife gals even create jewelry with the word of the year on it to help them focus. That's the first reason a word of the year is a great idea. Word of the year helps you focus in on a main focus for you. So it can basically help you tame the squirrels. There are a few ways that this can work. First, with identifying your word. Start imagining what you want more of going forward, perhaps in the coming year. Thinking about what you want less of may also help you think more clearly about where you want to put your attention. It can also help with decision making. It could help you with the clarity around the forest or the trees, so higher level overarching things like goals and values or specific projects or time-sensitive activities that you may have coming up. And it can also help you bring you back to your intentional focus if you feel yourself getting a little scattered. Life gets busy, as you know, so having one word you can rely on to help you clear the noise and kind of remind yourself what your intention is can really help. The second reason I love the word of the year concept is that it makes being intentional easier by making it simple. Instead of a giant assessment of your life, a bunch of scary goals and lofty resolutions, it is one word. You might want to think of it as a guiding theme or an idea that grounds you. You can reflect back on it to make sure that your decisions and actions make sense. If a guiding theme is easier for you, use it. Use it to conceptualize in your mind too, without breaking down all of the specifics. If you get it, and I'm using air quotes, you get it more quickly because it's simple. Your word of the year can really help you steer your efforts, and it's so simple to access. The third reason the word of the year is a great idea is that essentially it's encouragement to be mindful. You can think of it as a tool that you can use to remind yourself to pause and think about what you're doing. It's a nudge, a simple, accessible reminder, and it's reflection on purpose. If you think about it, you're reflecting on purpose. For example, if you come up with 5 big goals for the year, it will be a bit more challenging to remember everything than trying to remember this one anchoring word. It's also easier to remind yourself to think of a word. You can put prompts everywhere. You can put them on your phone, in your calendar, on your wall, in your closet, on the car visor, wherever you always are and whatever you always look at. Now, the fourth reason I love the word of the year exercise so much is that it's flexible. It's not a detailed goal or a specific rule. With resolutions and goals, if you think you're going off course a bit, it's easy to think that you failed because it's more black and white. How many times have you used the words, I've gone off the wagon? That kind of language. It's like, what's the point? I failed. I lost the routine. I'm out of sync or whatever it is. It's black and white. With the word of the year, it's more flexible to use because it's not as specific. It's up to interpretation and tweaking as you work with it. It's kind of amorphous that way. It works with your growth and mindfulness. I think it's easier to stay present and focus on your journey and not just the outcome. And the fifth reason I think the word of the year concept is awesome is that it easily puts you in a positive, open, and curious headspace. Think about it. I doubt you're going to pick a negative word of the year. I don't think you'll be attracted to a word that you interpret in a negative or difficult way, something that would bring you down and something that might make you feel less than or like a failure. The research on resolution shows that the vast majority of people who set resolutions, and most resolutions are about health, most people don't succeed with that approach. So think of the difference with a positive word of the year. If you choose something like curiosity, for example, you want to be more curious. It's pretty easy to imagine that intentionally reminding yourself to connect with that word over time will likely have a positive effect because it's flexible and positive at the onset. It's harder to fail and interpret your intentionality about it as failure. You know what I mean? And in the end, there's likely to be less harsh judgment and maybe even more positive mindset about your word of the year. So here they are again, the 5 reasons I think it's a great idea to pick a word of the year. 1, it helps you focus in on a main focus for you. 2, it makes being intentional easier by making it simple. 3, it's encouragement to be mindful. 4, it's flexible. It's not a detailed goal or specific rule. And 5, it easily puts you in a positive, open, and curious headspace. Now that you're on board, here are 4 simple steps to get your word of the year experience off the ground. The very first thing to do is start thinking about it. Think about what vibe and focus that you want next year or whatever period of time you're thinking about. Write down the answers to these prompts, and of course you'll come up with some more, but here's something to get you started. What did you crave this year? What words make sense for that? So what were you craving this year? For example, are you craving calm? Are you craving excitement? Are you craving rest? Are you craving adventure? Whatever it is, what are you craving? And think about words that make sense for that idea. What do you want most for next year? What words relate to helping you with that? What vibe or feeling do you want to be a notable part of your life next year? What word helps you with that? Now I'm going to read off a bunch of suggestions, some words to get you going. So just notice how you respond to them. Are you like, oh yeah, that's good? Or, that one's not resonating with me. So the idea is to write this stuff down. You want to write down your answers to the prompts, and you want to make a list of all the possible words. So here we go. In no particular order: harmony, dedicated, confidence, comfort, celebrate, bright, beauty, balance, bloom, brave, adapt, awe, wonder, content, mighty, intuition, loving, nourish, gratitude, imagine, tenacious, capable, minimalism, serenity, release, present, optimism, nurture, kindness, imagination, honesty, happiness, generosity, fearless, abundance, adventure, believe, calm, community, connection, curiosity, delight, empathy, acceptance, positivity, connect, unplug, and happy. And a couple more: hustle, honor, grit, transcend, unapologetic, wholehearted, boundless, centered, chill, and one that makes me smile: go. Like it's go time, something like that. Another great idea is just to do a quick Google search, and you're going to see tons of suggestions and ideas there to play with. And also sometimes people tell you what their word of the year is, so you can reflect if that is meaningful for you. So ask yourself though, what words are working for you? What feels good to you going forward? Okay, the next thing, drum roll please, choose your word of the year. So here's some quick tips how to do that. Look at the list that you made, all the words that resonated, all the answers to your prompts. Look at that it's like a mini list of words that came to you from looking around and answering prompts, and then pick your top 5. And then take a look at those, and then pick your top 3. And then take a look at those and see if you can get down to your word. And then sit with it. Sit with it for a couple days or a couple of weeks and see how it feels. And on to the next step, number 3, decide how you're going to embrace your word of the year and welcome it into your life. How will you help yourself remember it? You can buy something like a keychain, a bracelet, a charm, a magnet, a sticker, a notebook. You can make sticky notes, my personal favorite. You can program reminders into your phone. You can create something. My favorite thing to do is to make a word of the year, kind of like I would make a vision board. And that way, it's an easy visual cue to look at, right? I did this with the word calm over COVID. I wanted calm to be my word of the year. And I found that year I wasn't into a vision board. So I just went to a magazine and I found the word calm. And then I put it on a 9x12 canvas with Mod Podge. And I decorated it with flowers that I'd cut out from magazines and also little bugle beads that I sprinkled into the glue. I like to use Mod Podge. And that was it. And because it was on a canvas, it was kind of like pre-framed. I could prop it up. It was easy to look at. And it could prop up on a bookshelf. Or I could hang it, or I could just have it around because it stood up on its own pretty much. And it helped me see the word. So I put it near me. I actually put it on my bookshelf. And it reminded me of the word visually. And a visual cue is just another way to help you remember how you're trying to be intentional. And the fourth step, this one's important, mark on your calendar to check in on yourself. You can decide, what do you want that to be? In a month? Once a quarter? Maybe in 6 months? Whatever, it doesn't matter, whatever feels good to you. The idea is to ask yourself how things have been going related to your ability to focus on your word of the year. What's gone well? What obstacles got in the way of your focus? For example, do you need more reminders? Or is there a situation that's difficult for you to focus? Or maybe a place that you put a reminder you never even saw? Whatever, just notice what it was and ask yourself, can you improve it? Can you help yourself remember your word of the year more? Then ask yourself, what can you do to anticipate these things in the future and solve for them if necessary? So you're just trying to improve your ability to be intentional by helping you get out of your own way. Overall, how can you continue to help yourself use your word of the year to your advantage? Does anything need to be tweaked, or are you good to go? You really want your word of the year to be as powerful for you as possible. That's about it. 5 reasons why you can really benefit from the Word of the Year exercise, and 4 simple steps to help you help yourself with a little thing like a Word of the Year. Oh yeah, you might be wondering what my Word of the Year is for next year. It's connection. I'm excited about meeting and connecting with more people next year. I work at home as I don't get out much, so I really want to work on that. And sometimes it's on Zoom, and that's okay, but I want this to be top of mind, so connection. I want to be more open to collaborations and definitely more open to having fun. Remember, it's not about being perfect. So be aware of that. Be aware of that urge. It's more about using your word of the year as an anchor, a guide, a meaningful lens to intentionally create the life you want. You want to look out at what you're doing and reflect with this in mind. That's what meaningful lens means. It's like, yeah, you want this to kind of be part of the way you're looking at what's possible for you, the way you're looking at how you want to be, how you want to show up. And as always, have your own back and be kind to yourself. You deserve that. So let me know what came up for you. I would love to hear about the word of the year that you adopt this year. So send me an email and let me know. And please have fun with this. Now, if you need help thinking more intentionally about how to be more intentional, more peaceful, more fulfilled in things like aging, making a midlife transition, a tweak, an adjustment, or a change yourself, and want to understand how mindfulness can help you get out of your own way so that you're happier overall, I'm your gal. It is way more fun to do this work together. Also, I've created something you might like. You may have vision board on your mind as well. It's called the Regret Proof Vision Worksheet to start thinking about what your vision is for the future. Like I said, it is about a vision board, how to make one that really works, but there is a small section there on Word of the Year. It's a free guide and it's a starting point. So if you would like it, head over to www.susierosenstein.com/Regret Proof Vision and you can grab it there. That's it for this episode. As you know, this podcast is all about how to love your life again after 50. It's really all about coaching you to be more intentional and to incorporate mindfulness into your life as a regular practice. This is how you put yourself on your agenda. My focus as your midlife coach is to help you get unstuck, clear, and focused on your current values and priorities so you don't have regrets. I can help you create the confidence, courage, and meaning you're looking for. If you're ready to take a step, you're invited to book your momentum call at www.talktosusie.com and we will chat. One more thing, you're also invited to purchase my new masterclass, Get Unstuck, Midlife Clarity Fast and Easy, where you can get clear about your next chapter priorities without spin, confusion, and overwhelm in less than an hour. Head over to www.midliferoadmap.com. And finally, for show notes and links, head over to www.susierosenstein.com and click the podcast tab and look for episode 385. You'll also see links there for the new show, Women in the Middle Entrepreneurs. Thanks so much for listening. It's time for you to put yourself first, one thought at a time. I'm Susie Rosenstein, and I'll talk to you next week.